Welcome to a new episode of Super Non Common Sense. This is your creator and host. This is your girl Tiff. I want to thank everybody that's tuning in and watching right now. I hope everybody had a good week. June. Still winter outside.
We need to win some.
Right. Still winter. Everything. I'm thankful for you coming through, Josh. I appreciate you coming through, hanging with me. Thanks for accepting the invitation. I appreciate you.
Well, I mean, the way you looked at me at the gym, my attitude, God, man. He's like, you gonna be on my show. I'm like, okay, man.
I did not create you. He the rock at the gym. He be getting on my nerves. He motivate people around the dumbbells. I was like, Josh, stop motivating people while they're working out.
It's just in me. No, I appreciate you for having me on the show. I really appreciate you. You know, you're doing some awesome things. Definitely doing some awesome things. You know, I've watched your show. I've watched some of the guests that you've had, and you know, to see the work that you're doing, it's awesome.
Thank you.
We need that. We definitely need that. So I appreciate you for having me on here.
Thank you. I appreciate what you're doing too, motivating me every day. Every hour. I'm surprised you're not doing it.
I'm off on the weekends though. I got a spiritual W.
Right. I'm surprised you're not doing it on the weekends. It's coming.
I'll be
right.
Dirty. You see, I be sweating.
I know. Yeah, whole 3 full time.
Man.
I was like, you don't need to go to the gym. You worked out right there. So tell people who you are and that people that may not know you.
Okay, for those that don't know me, I'm Joshua Randolph, born and raised in North Chicago. I am a pastor. No go in the building. No go. Whoa.
Respect y'all.
Break down. I ain't playing football though. But born and raised in North Chicago. Definitely the typical story about me is, you know, grew up in an awesome home. 2 parents in my home, mother and father in the home, and you know, grew up as a typical person, typical boy, typical teenager. Got involved in a lot of stuff as I began to grow older. You know, I began to become a product of my environment. Got heavily involved in the streets and began to run the streets and got addicted to that lifestyle, which actually ended or landed me in jail. Got sentenced to 7 years. Had to do 3 out of the 7. But you know, that's just like a fast forward of who I am. Now, thank God that after I was released from the penitentiary. Do people say penitentiary? It's like penitentiary.
But it's more harder.
Right.
Penitentiary.
I was in the pen. You know, after I was, you know, released from being incarcerated.
Right.
That's where my life changed in prison. That's where I really changed in prison. That's where I began to develop a relationship with God and really began to understand certain things. And I developed a lot up in there. And when I came home, you know, that's where I knew I would never go back to the lifestyle that I came from. And I wanted to be able to go back, but not in a way that I left, but more so in a positive way where I was able to impact people's lives, you know, with my story and my testimony and just the things that I've endured, and being able to go back and just share that with people, man, it was amazing. So I'm a lovable guy. I'm humorous. I love to laugh. Even when we were pastoring Salvation Praise Ministries, I was more of an out of the box type of pastor, not your traditional pastor. Nothing wrong with traditional pastors. It was just I just was different. Like I preached in jeans, J's, t-shirts. You know,
that's the style now, though. I feel that's trending now.
Yeah, I started that.
Oh, okay.
I started that.
Okay, come through.
What? I'm the one that started that. I'm the one that got preaching in J's.
Put respect on his name.
Put it on my name.
I know you started.
Great. Pastor, what? No. But I began to, you know, just preach like that, relate to people. I would preach just sermons that really was not popular. I remember I preached a sermon called "I'm in Love with a Stripper." You know what I'm saying? I knew it was controversial, but I knew it would grab their attention.
I know that.
You know what I'm saying?
Posted on Facebook, right?
Yeah. You know, it grabbed the attention of many people because they like, dude, finna preach about a stripper. I'm coming,
right?
Because he crazy.
Yeah.
But at the end, they were able to understand what the message was about, the meat of the message. You know, so I'm just a lovable person. Again, I love everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I love everybody. I love my haters. I love people who talk. I just love because I understood that love is just so powerful. You feel what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So that's who I am, you know, in a nutshell. In a nutshell.
See, I get that from you, like you're a lovable person. I know we met like over 10 years ago, I think, through Desi. Shout out to Desi. She used to do my hair before I went natural. But yeah, you used to do hair in Gurney, I think your shop was.
It was that long ago?
Yeah, it was long ago.
You saw Desi?
Yeah.
Shout out to Desi. I do not remember.
Hey, you were doing hair then,
Right.
but I don't know. You transitioned to pastoring. What made you go from hair to transition?
Well, actually, I was doing hair. I was cutting hair, being a barber, even while I was pastoring. I actually picked up the trade of barber in prison.
Oh, okay.
You know, that's where I learned how to cut hair, and I picked that trade up in there, which was awesome for me because when I came home, being a product of the system, I couldn't get a job.
Right.
You know, nobody would hire me because of my background, but I was able to, you know, begin to cut hair, and I actually got into a real nice barbershop in North Chicago, Dave's Barbershop.
Oh, okay.
And that's where my clientele really grew. You know, so I really was making good money cutting hair, so it wasn't really a transition for me. It was more so, this is something I could do. You know what I'm saying? Wow, I could take care of my family while I still minister God's word. You know, so even when I started pastoring in 2012, I still continued to cut hair. Right. You know, because our ministry wasn't big enough for me to get a salary. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't want. I could have, but I didn't want to because I'm like, I got a job. I'm cool. I'm young. I could do this by the grace of God. And that's what I did, you know what I'm saying? Up until the point where I got hired into the VA.
Oh, okay. What made you want to start pastoring? Like, well, you always had that motivation? What made, how did that transition to? No, I was a baby then. My sister do.
They call me nasty. No, not at all. There was a point in time in my life where I said that I'm gonna smoke weed to the day I die, and I'm gonna sell dope to the day I die. So there was never, or I'm not gonna say never. There was never, if I was to use that, always knowing that I would pastor. If you would have asked me back in 94, 95, 96, up into the mid to late 90s, I would have looked at you crazy, like, you crazy?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I got money, I got cars, I got popularity, I could get anybody I want, you know, and I didn't see that in my future. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see pastoring, I didn't see ministering God's word in my future because I was so stuck in my present. Right. And what began to happen was, back then I didn't see it, but God did. You feel what I'm saying? And he had to allow me to go through the certain things that he had to allow me to go through to get to me to where he already destined me to be. Right. One faith. Can I say scriptures on here?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Can we say scriptures?
Yeah.
You make sure after we gonna beat the scripture out. They like Pastor Johnson cussing. No, there's a scripture in the Bible that's real cold and dope. You know what I'm saying? It really was cold to me and cool to me because in Jeremiah, God tells Jeremiah, he says, before you was in your mother's womb, I ordained you. And that's cold to me because it lets me know that before I was born, God already knew my purpose and my plan. You feel what I'm saying? Right. He knew, and the cold thing, what made it cold for me was he knew every mistake I was going to make before I made it, but he still ordained me. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah,
he still called me.
He
still called. He didn't look at me like man would.
Right.
Man would have looked at me and said, no, you ain't qualified.
Right.
Look at your background. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But God looked at me and said, you ain't qualified according to man's standards, but I qualified you. You know, so the transition from the barbering and everything like that, it was I didn't always know that I was going to be a pastor.
Right.
You know, but I went to church when I was still selling dope. I would go into church and have like about $2,000 worth of dope on me because I had a religious experience. You feel what I'm saying? I went because I knew this is what my mama wanted me to do.
Right.
You know, but I never really took the time to develop a relationship.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until I got to that place in prison where I had the opportunity to do it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it wasn't that I always knew. It was just that when I got awakened to that and what my purpose and my destiny was, I answered that call and I ran with it. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, that's tough. Y'all don't even know what that has. That's probably what you said. He got me speechless.
Look, the interviewer.
I messed up already. So
yeah, that's good.
You changed your life to be a pastor and all that transition. You had a church, but you transitioned. You left. What happened?
Ooh, you going deep. She going deep.
For people that don't know, like what happened?
No, okay. There's multiple things that happen. One of the days, just to be honest, I was tired. I was tired.
Yeah.
I wasn't tired of pastoring.
Right.
I was tired of trying to push something to a place people didn't want to go. And I'm not, and this isn't shading against anybody that was there.
Yeah.
It's just that sometimes your vision can be so big that if a person don't see it, it's hard for them to push it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
So I had got to a place where I was exhausted. I was tired. And before I do anything that will hurt people, I would rather remove myself out of that situation. Right. Because hurt people.
Right.
And in ministry, as a pastor, a lot of things people don't understand. As a pastor, pastors go through a lot of stuff that people don't know. Yeah. Because we carry a lot. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all got like 10 jobs.
Yeah. We got emotionally. Yeah. Especially a pastor. Of my magnitude, nothing pompous or pumped up about that. But when I say of my magnitude, I mean of the way I minister. Right. You know, I minister with all of my energy. So by the time I do one sermon, it's equivalent to somebody working 8 hours. 35 minutes to an hour of me preaching is equivalent to someone working 8 hours. So to exert all that energy, it can deplete you. If you're not being poured back into. Right. And I got to a point in my life where I got tired and I began to lose that hunger for church. Yeah. If I use it in that aspect. Yeah. And basically what I mean by that is I didn't want to be another pastor. When God called me to start that, you know what I'm saying? I didn't want to be another pastor that's 58, 68, 78, 88 years old that just got a church building. You feel what I'm saying? And people coming to a church building. Again, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Just for me, I didn't see myself that way because I knew that there were so many gifts in me and I didn't want to be boxed. So not only did I get tired, but I began to see myself becoming boxed and stuck in this place when I know that God called me to go out. Right. Because I'm an evangelist at heart. I love people. I'm a people person. Yeah, you are. So the thing about it was I knew that was trapping me in one aspect of ministry. Yeah. And I wanted to be able to experience the fullness of what God called me to go in. So I talked to my wife and, you know, we prayed about it for a while. And, you know what I'm saying, we began to see the ministry decline a little bit and then it increase. So it was kind of like this because people that was coming to our church, it wasn't your normal people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We had people still selling dope, people still in the club, people still dealing with different lifestyles. People, you know, everybody came. Right. And I never looked at a person funny or with my nose in the air because of where I was. Yeah. I always looked at them how God did. And that's love. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. I never watered down the word. I preached what I believe and what I stood on. Right. But I didn't preach it in the aspect of I'm condemning and damning people. Right. But it was just more so building up. You know, if you ever listen to my message, it's always encouraging. Yes. You know, so got tired, and then I didn't want to see myself boxed. And then God began, he shared this with me. Because it was hard. It was a hard decision for me. Because I didn't want to walk away from that. Again, like I said, pastors, we have large hearts.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It was people in my ministry that left and dogged us out. And talked about us and did all this type of stuff to us. And then came back. You know what I'm saying? I know they talked about us. I know they dogged us out. You know what I'm saying? And they came back, and guess what? Not once, even when they left, not once did I say anything negative about them.
Right.
Even though I know the stuff that was happening.
Right.
Not once did I speak my feelings across the pulpit. Not once did I say anything negative about them. Right. And when they came back, guess what? I loved them like they ain't said nothing.
Right.
And to this day, our relationship is tighter than it ever been. Why? Yeah. Because I allow love to cover. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it was like, God was like, Josh, I called you to start that. He said, God told me this. You know, he didn't tell me like, Josh, I told you. I ain't hear him like that.
You know, some people look for that.
Josh, this is God. No, I just felt it in my heart. You know what I'm saying? I just felt it in my heart. You know, I'm like, I felt God speaking to me in my heart. Most people feel it out. They say they heard his voice. I ain't say they lying, but he ain't never come to me and talked about Josh. This is God. Like what? But he spoke in my heart. Yeah. And it was like he told me, he said, Josh, you started something that ordained you to start. He said, many people came to me that would never have came to me had you not started this. Right. He says, now I have another assignment for you. And I was cool with it, Tiff. Yeah. And the thing about it was, I was bold enough to do what I did. Yeah. Me and my wife got on Facebook. I don't know if you saw it. And we did that, man. It was over 5,000-6,000 views. But the blessing thing about it was many pastors that inboxed me and said, man, bro, I wish I could do what you did. Yeah. Because they tired. Yeah. Because they've been boxed. Yeah. They tired. They know there's more. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's a lot. I said, I'm going to my son's football game. Yeah. Right. They got mad at people got mad at me because I said I'm going to my son's football game. People got mad at me within where we used to, the church we pastored. Some people got upset that I told them I'm going to miss some Sundays because I'm going to make sure I'm there for my son. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Right. Absolutely. I'm here for y'all every week. Yeah. Out of the year, out of 365. Yeah. I'm answering phones. Like, I'm not going to allow my child to grow up and hate God because daddy was never there. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? That's true. Yeah. That's true. So how do you find the motivation to keep motivating people even though you went through all that? It's just in me. Yeah. It's in me, and I know that, you know what I'm saying, what God did for me. How much mercy he had on me. How many chances he gave me. Yeah. You know, and it's me wanting to see people, man, thrive. Yeah. And understand, just like my shirt say, live out loud. Yeah. To understand that your life has meaning. Right. Your life has value. There's God created you for a reason and a purpose to touch, effect, ignite, empower, encourage people. You know, and not allow yourself to be the center of what everything is going on, but allowing yourself to be behind, right, and allow other people to usher other people into their purpose. You feel what I'm saying? Right. So what gives me the energy and the motivation to do it is to know that if I could just touch one person, if one person can hear whatever God, because truth be told, when I'm talking, boy, I'm listening to myself. Yeah. Because I understand that it's not always me. You know what I'm saying? It's not me at all. God is using me as a vessel. But sometimes the very stuff I'm telling somebody else, I need to hear. So a lot of times I'm encouraging myself. Yeah. People just reaping the benefits of it. Yeah. You know, so I'm just really encouraging myself sometimes. Right. And really empowering and lifting myself up. Because one thing I learned in life is that some people just ain't going to encourage you. Right. You know, people, when you start doing this, people not going to encourage you like they did when you were here. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So I had to learn how to encourage myself, and I do that through motivational speaking. You know, through inspirational speaking. You know, and then sometimes to be honest, I go back and I listen to it. Yeah. And sometimes I'm breaking down crying because God is ministering to me again through me. Yeah. He ministering to me through me. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's basically how that happen. That's what keeps me motivated. Is to be able to see people, man, empowered. You know what I'm saying? And changed.
Yeah.
And understand that it's not a religious movement.
Yeah.
It's more of a relationship movement. A lot of times, you know, and you cut me off because I can go. You know, I'm a preacher.
Okay,
you know, I'm a pastor. Y'all know I keep going.
It's about you. It ain't about me.
As long as I don't sweat.
Hey, you so sick. I ain't bring no towel.
You got some tablecloths, bro. I'm gonna use. Yeah, you know, it's amazing that I love the fact that with relationship, it's different than religion. I don't like religion. Because religion is like a bunch of rules.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a bunch of what you can't do, what you shouldn't do, or you this, you can't. You know what I mean? People that I know that's not believers that told me what believers don't supposed to do. I'm like, where that's at?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's a bunch of, and it's just because of how they were brought up, or just the insight that they have. You know, but relationship is different. Relationship is different because I understand through relationship, we're going to have some ups and downs. Right. We're going to have some ups and downs. Absolutely. With my relationship with my wife, we got ups and downs. You know what I'm saying? I love her to life. I ain't going nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. I told her I'm out the game. I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't know how to get nobody number. Do they even do you like me? Yes, no, or maybe? Do you DM? Direct. I don't even know what DM means. You know, what do that mean? Is that the alphabet?
Go live. Go live. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Somebody before, I remember walking to the gas and somebody asked me this, I got that loud. I'm like, what is that? You know, loud. What? I'm quiet. I'm a quiet person.
Oh my God.
You know what I'm saying?
Embarrassing your kids.
I'm like, loud. What's that?
Right, my shirt.
Right. Was I too loud? Sorry. Give me 6 on 8. 6 on pump 8. No, but it's being able to understand that a relationship is going to have ups and downs. Yeah. In any relationship you're involved in, you got ups and downs. Yeah, of course. So what made me think that I'm not going to have ups and downs with God?
That's true.
What made me think that in my relationship with God that I'm not going to have ups and downs, or I'm not going to enjoy spending time with Him sometimes, and sometimes I'm not going to feel like it. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's all part of the relationship, and the more time I spend, the closer we get. And sometimes people don't understand that because it's not taught. You know what I'm saying? And it's not explained. Right. And people just think that it's just a bunch of what you can't do. Right. You know what I'm saying? So people stay away from that. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Because of the tag that it has. So that's what with me, it was more relationship. You know what I'm saying? For me. Okay. She got notes, y'all.
Because y'all know what to, sometimes she be like cautious with the ass. Like, No.
We can keep it 100.
So why do you speak so much on the mind? I see you speak on people's thoughts a lot.
The mind is so important. I think we neglect that. We neglect that. As you think, that's the direction you're going to go. Whether you like it or not. Right. Yeah. As you think, that's the direction you're going to go. I remember cutting hair when I was working at Days, and there was this guy that would come in constantly. You know what I'm saying? You could tell he had mental issues or whatever the case may be. And he would come in and he would always do the 70 dances, and he dressed like he was in the 70s, and you know, he was strung out, but you know, he dressed like he was in the 70s. He would come in, do the little T, I love T, you know what I'm saying? He would do these things, and you know, people, they would look at him and they would laugh and everything like that, and it was fun. Y'all, I had to repent about a lot of times. You know what I'm saying? Because I laugh. You know, I'm like, dude is off the chain. Right. You know, but I had to realize on a more serious note, he was stuck. And
Speak on that.
He was stuck at the place his mind had stopped growing. He was stuck. So if you stop growing mentally, you can never surpass the place where your mind stopped growing. So if you are stuck in the 70s and we're in the 2000s, no matter how hard you try, if your mind does not evolve to the 2000s, you can't help but to remain stuck.
Right.
And many people don't understand that they're stuck in yesterday.
Yeah.
And when I say that they're stuck in yesterday, they're stuck in yesterday's mistakes. They're stuck in yesterday's problems. They're stuck in yesterday's people talking about them. They're stuck. And they don't even realize that you have stopped or capped your mind from expanding and growing to the place where you can enter, watch this, into your today. You got to enter into your today because your today is going to prepare you for your tomorrow. And if you never enter into your today, you can never experience tomorrow. So tomorrow, you still in your yesterday. I should say that again, but I'm not. When you're stuck in your yesterday, you're unprepared for the things you got to deal with today. God says, don't worry about tomorrow, for today has enough trouble.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I gotta make sure that my mind is evolving. I'm not even in June mentally. I'm not in June. For me to be in June means I'm behind. What do you mean you're behind? We're in June now. Yeah, we're in June. But for me to be in June mentally, I'm behind. My mind should be 6 months to a year ahead of where I am now. Because that way, I'm constantly evolving and I'm making room. Somebody say, why? You know what I'm saying? It seems like I'm around the same people because your mind is the same. Your mind is the same.
You're afraid to grow.
You're afraid. It's not so much you're afraid to grow.
Yeah.
You're afraid of expansion. Because if we fill this room that we're in right now of people, right? And let's just say you're the smartest one in the room. Everybody comes to you for advice. Everybody comes to Tiffany for knowledge or whatever the case may be. They can ask you a question. You know everything. And you become comfortable with that.
Right.
Now you know a lot. You're helping a lot of people. But you become comfortable with that. You kill yourself because you have capped yourself as the smartest one in the room. So that means you don't have no room to grow. You feel what I'm saying? So if you find yourself as the smartest one in the room, you're in the wrong room because you should always get exposed to things you don't know. Because exposure take you to a place you can never go back to where you came from. Once you exposed to something, once you in the room, last week I had to speak in a room full of Caucasian brothers and sisters. You know what I'm saying? I was nervous in the mud. I'm like, you know what I'm saying? I just kept hearing in my mind, get out! Get out! I'm like, you dark, brother, you dark. No, but they was cool Caucasian, my Caucasian white, I call them my white brothers and sisters, right? And I had to speak in front of them. It was I did the week before and then last week. So a total group of about 80 to 90, you know what I'm saying, Caucasian individuals. And they were millionaires. You know what I'm saying? They were some of them were multi-millionaires. House in Lake Forest. I was in a big mansion, one of the houses one week, big old mansion. And you know, it was all these people looking at me, you know, and I told them, you know, I was nervous. I said,
I don't work here.
Right, you know what I'm saying? I said, because they toured through North Chicago. It's something that they're trying to do, you know what I'm saying? And they toured through North Chicago, and I was with them on the bus tour. We toured through North Chicago, different areas and everything like that. And I stated this, I said, you know what, to be honest, I'm nervous right now. You know, I'm nervous. I said, I'm kind of nervous. It's equivalent to the nervous that you felt when we went through North Chicago. I said, but I wasn't nervous in North Chicago. Because I was in a comfort place. You feel what I'm saying? And I began to speak to them and everything like that, to share my story. They wanted to hear my story. I shared my story. I shared with them my book. Gave every one of them my book that I wrote in 2010. And they just began to conversate with me afterwards. And I can never go back to a financial state mentally that I was before I got exposed to that. So when I talk about the mind so much, the mind has to get to a place where it's constantly growing. So that you're not stuck like the dude was in the 70s. So that you're always evolving and you're being introduced to things that's going to help catapult you to the next level. You feel what I'm saying? Some levels you can take a step on, some levels you got to be catapulted on. And that's why sometimes it seems like, you know what I'm saying, it seems like when you're going from different levels, it seems like at last level, it was easy to make it, but this level it seemed like I'm being held back.
Right.
And it's not that a person is being held back. It's just that God got to pull you back long enough so He can catapult you, because it takes a thrust to be able to do that. So when I talk about the mind so much, I need people to understand your mind is a terrible thing to waste.
It is. It is.
It's a terrible thing to waste. Why? Because the mind is so powerful.
Yeah.
As a man thinketh, so is he. As you think, you got the ability to create. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're sitting on somebody's thought.
Right.
We're sitting on their thought. That phone came from somebody's thought. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the mind has to constantly evolve. That's why I'm heavily dealing with people's mind. Renew your mind.
Yeah.
Renew your mind. You can't watch all the episodes of Empire.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't just sit up and not read a book.
Yeah.
Read whatever you're trying to grow in.
Yeah.
You should have a library.
Yeah.
I want to be rich to give me a Bugatti. That's why you're going to be broke again.
Yeah.
You need financial books if you want to be rich.
You're right.
Because you got to, whatever you're trying to be, and I'll stop here. Whatever you're trying to be, you have to first be a here.
Yeah.
If you're not a here, a person with a broke mentality. Let me show you a person with a broke mentality. A person, what you say? You. She said me. No, you ain't, mug. I ain't gonna let the devil is a lie.
I know. Okay.
Okay. She said, not broke mentality, mug. A person with a broke mentality. How can I put it? I don't want to go all the way raw with it.
Go raw. This is what this show is about. Tell it all like
a person with a broke mentality will get things to impress people.
That's true.
Instead of investing for the future. A broke mentality.
Yeah.
And it's not that it makes a person just this bad person because they got a broke mentality. It's just that their mind is stuck.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's stuck.
Yeah.
Because I would rather get this car and put rims on it so people can see, ooh, I'm hurting the town.
Right.
But you don't own nothing in the town.
Come through.
You feel what I'm saying? You don't own nothing in the town.
Yeah, right.
So you're riding through something you don't own in something that's depreciating.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To impress people who don't like you anyway.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the thing about it is, we've been bamboozled with that mindset as we were growing up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
We were never taught about finance. We were never taught about a lot of things that we need to know.
Yeah.
You know, so therefore, again, the transforming of the mind. Because our mind is conformed by things we refuse or don't have discipline with allowing to come in. I'm not gonna let you not where you live at?
I live in Zion.
In Zion.
Yeah.
In your house, apartment, townhouse, whatever the case, whatever you have, if somebody walk in your house and disrespect your house, you're not gonna just sit and let them disrespect your house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They coming in, you got your chair right here, they move your chair where they want.
Right.
You know, they go in your refrigerator and make them a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You ain't even got no peanut butter.
Right.
You like, where you get the peanut butter from? You know, they coming in doing what they want. You're not gonna do that in the natural.
Right.
And if you do, it's something wrong with you.
Right.
You need to check you. But 9 times out of 10, a person not going to allow nobody to do that. But why do we allow thoughts to come in our mind and just do what it want to do?
Right.
Tell us what it want to tell us. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A thought come in and it hit us. We like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It is what it is. No.
Yeah.
No. So the mind is powerful.
Yeah, it is.
A powerful thing that I believe all of us have to renew every day.
Yeah. And I appreciate you speaking on that like all the time. But that's all I hear in the sermons. I don't hear pastors talking about how powerful your mind is. You know what I'm saying? They just tell you what you should do and how you should be.
Yeah.
But they don't tell you how to start with your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I appreciate you talking about that. I think that's important.
It is.
And the people are losing their minds today.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Mental health is real.
Yeah.
Mental health is real.
Yeah.
It's so real. And people have I work in the mental health ward. Mental health is so real because something happened in life that traumatized the mind that got it in a stuck state.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? It's stuck.
Right.
it cannot evolve. It doesn't mean that they can't learn.
Right.
It just can't evolve.
Right.
You can learn and not evolve.
Yeah.
You feel? It's a difference from. Come on, Josh. it's a difference. I felt that. I felt my health coming up. So my back is hot. You know, it's a difference from learning and evolving.
Yeah.
Evolving is something that happens not by choice. Or not, I'm not saying not by choice. Evolving to evolve, it can't just happen.
Right.
There has to be purposed, focused action steps that has to be taken to evolve to something.
Right.
To learn, you can learn anything.
Yeah.
You don't really have to take that much action steps to learn anything.
Right.
9 times out of 10, everybody that's watching this right now, you know how to say a cuss word in Spanish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Why?
Yeah.
Because you heard somebody say it and you just repeated what you heard. You learned how to say a cuss word. I walked around saying it all day. You know what I'm saying? You know, we learn it. You know, you learn it. It didn't take much effort.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But what takes effort is to unlearn it. What takes effort is to unlearn. In order to grow, you have to unlearn what you learn so you can learn what you don't know. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Evolve into something you don't know. It takes energy, effort, discipline, and dedication to get there, to become that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So a person have to understand my mind is so important to my growth. Because, and it's not just mental knowledge.
Yeah.
It's not just mental knowledge. I don't want people to get confused with that. But it's being able to expand the mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For room for things that's needed for your purpose and destiny.
So I know you mentioned you say you were talking to your brothers, white brothers and sisters.
Right.
You know, why do people criticize pastors for being wealthy or becoming wealthy?
Ooh, they don't want us. They don't want us to have the money.
Why is that a big shame? You think?
I think because there's a true enemy behind it all. A lot of people don't look at the devil.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't look at the true enemy. A lot of pastors have misused the ministry, God's church, however you see it.
So have
money.
CEOs of businesses.
Of course, but the thing about it is, it's like this. A bird falls from the sky daily and nobody notices. But when the eagle falls, everybody sees it.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's the level of it's where people place people. I always told people, don't put me on no pedestal.
Yeah.
Don't put, because I can mess up.
Yeah.
Still human.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm still human. I'm getting up every day, mortifying, killing my flesh.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean that Pastor Josh won't say something. You know, I haven't cussed since 2000. Thank the Lord. But I still may say something mean.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It still don't mean that I may not think it.
Right. You're still choking. He goes to the gym. Dead.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
It's all like that.
You know, you gotta, you know,
right.
Stuff is real. Stuff is real. You know what I'm saying?
I'll be like, catch yourself.
Man.
This is it.
They gone. Tiff, they gone. Tiff, they gone. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and it's a discipline. So it's just the fact that, you know, people have this expectation of their understanding of a pastor.
Right.
God says in His Word, do not muzzle a donkey when it's treading, basically.
Yeah.
And basically what this means is that He says a laborer is worthy of his wages.
Yeah.
I believe pastors should be wealthy.
Yeah.
I believe pastors should get paid.
Yeah.
I believe, because it's a hard job.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I believe that they should live, you know what I'm saying, the way that they feel they want to live.
Yeah.
Now, on the flip side, I don't believe that, you know what I'm saying, I need a $3-point-something million house if my entire congregation is struggling. It's a difference.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so
I never heard it put it that way. That's
so what's wrong with a $800,000 house?
Yeah.
Because I could have took that extra and did something to not, quote unquote, handicap people by giving them money, because some people in the congregation don't want to learn.
Yeah.
They don't want to get out of their situation.
Yeah.
But there's some that's really struggling, so why not take that money, help them out? Hey, we're going to take care of y'all. We're going to take care of y'all rent for a whole year.
Yeah.
But in this year time, you're going to take financial classes. We're going to have them at the church.
Right.
We're going to teach you how to save. We're going to teach you how to budget. We're going to teach you how to come up, because God wants you wealthy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So there's a difference. So there has been pastors that have abused it, and there has been pastors that have been ridiculed that haven't abused it, but they've been ridiculed for it because of the perception that people have. You know, so I'm a strong believer in pastors being paid and blessed for the work that they do. Right. Now, it's voluntarily, it's a voluntary, I'm messing that word.
That's okay.
You know what it is. Y'all, I went to North Chicago, y'all. Some words I mess up on. I'm going to replace it. I'm going to replace it.
I went to Zion. We mess up on words.
This is how you replace it, where that word voluntary. You see, I tore it up again. They chose to do it. You know what I'm saying? But I still believe that they should be paid. They should be, you know what I'm saying, taken care of. Yeah. You know, but again, it's the perception that people have. And the perception came from some people that did wrong with it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? At the same time where some people, you know, haven't done wrong, but they still are. It comes with the territory. You know what I'm saying? See? But people ain't, and a lot of times it goes back to the mindset, because you will know a person's heart when you got their money. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
You will know a person's heart when they got their money. I remember this time I had taught about the tithe. And you know what I'm saying? Because you have a lot of people that talk about the tithe. You know, everybody, y'all giving that tithe to the church, this and that. I taught about the tithe, and I was just dealing with some things. And I told the people, I said, you know, if we're going to the Old Testament, and Malachi talks about how God says to bring, you know what I'm saying, your tithe into my storehouse, that may be mean mouths. And I was sharing that with them, and I told them, you know what I'm saying? I told them, I said, where's God's storehouse? And they said, wherever you're being fed. I said, you're absolutely right. I said, so if you go and visit somebody's church and you get fed, should you tithe there? Most of them said no. They said, no, you tithe from your local church, where, you know what I'm saying, where you go to church all the time. You just save and tithe there. I said, well, technically, that's still God's storehouse too. Right. So why wouldn't you tithe there if you're there on vacation? If that's God's storehouse. Right. They didn't understand it because it was never taught to them that way. Why? Because pastors aren't going to teach that.
That's tough.
And the reason, I'm going to say, some pastors, Tiff, did I say something? Did I say something, y'all? Some pastors won't teach that. Yeah. And it's because of fear of losing that income that may come that week that they need to pay bills, to pay salaries, or whatever the case may be. So I had taught that, right? 2 weeks. A week later, a church invited me to come preach for their anniversary, but they wanted me to come that morning service. So I'm like, okay, I got church. How we gonna do this? My wife can stay here and preach, but then God says, no, take the whole church up there. So I'm like, okay. So we went up there as a whole ministry. People start coming to me, asking me, do I tithe here? And it was like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, this what God told you to tithe. Yeah. But how I got that revelation was I went to my pastor friend church after I had ministered, and they had church at 2:00, and I was sitting there and they was doing the tithe, and I looked in my pocket to, you know what I'm saying, I was gonna pull out that you know the 1 to 5,
right.
the 1 to 5. Yeah. I was gonna pull that out and bless him with it. And when I pulled it out, I realized that I had my whole tithe. I forgot to put it in the church. And I was like, oh man, I forgot to put this in the church. And he says, put it in now. And I'm like, oh my God, you know how much this is? Right. He said, yeah, put it in now. He says, this is my storehouse too. Yeah. So I put it in. When I put it in, I obeyed, I put it in. Next thing you know, I left. They called me about 35 minutes after I left. They said, do you realize you just tithed to the church? I said, yeah. He said, did you mean to put this much in? I said, yeah, that was my tithe. Yeah. He was like, well, what made you do it here, not at your church? I said, because that's God's storehouse too.
Right.
I forgot to put it in my church. I came here, God told me to put it here because this is storehouse too.
Right.
Blue is mine. It's not going to be taught though.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
That's not talked about. That, hey, I never heard that before. Yeah. People like...
Don't be mad at y'all. Don't hate. Don't be hating me.
We bring it real here.
Yeah,
I'll be stuck some
right. Tiffany gonna have me. Dude, I'm finna hit your, what is it, DM she said? Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, I never heard it that way. Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Look at you. So what is the purpose of prayer? Because people think, I don't need to pray, my life already, it's already, however it's going to happen, it's going to happen. You know what I'm saying? My life already written out. Why the purpose of prayer?
The purpose of prayer, again, it goes back to relationship. If I came on your show and didn't say one word to you, is that a show?
No.
Could you produce that?
Yeah.
Could you produce it?
No.
If I didn't say one word,
Yeah.
I just came here and sat and just, and you just kept talking, but I never said a word.
Yeah.
You can't produce that.
Yeah.
Because it's not real.
Yeah.
Any relationship, there has to be communication. Prayer, again, religion has messed it up.
Yeah.
Because religion, please don't hate me when I say this, because I'm not pouring shade on nobody. You pray the way you pray. But a lot of times we have been taught, Father, oh most gracious God,
He get on my nerves.
Lord, you parted the Red Sea, Lord. You helped Moses on the mountain. He raised his staff, God. You the God of Abraham, of Isaac. You are the God. God in heaven like, dude, for real. You know what I'm saying? God like, come on. You don't even talk like that. God wants us to be real.
Right.
So prayer is nothing but communication.
Right.
And of course, he wants us to pray his word, but you got to develop to that. We miss it. A lot of the natural things that we experience is tied to the spirit. A baby talks. We don't know what that baby is saying, but we talk to the baby.
Yeah.
And we talk to the baby. Oh my God, thank you, Holy Spirit. We talk to the baby because in reality, we don't know what the baby's saying. The baby really don't know what we're saying, but we're teaching the baby how to talk.
Right.
We're teaching the baby to understand certain language by us talking to it, but the baby got to talk back to us.
Right.
For us to know that you're getting it. You feel what I'm saying? The baby can't learn how to say dad until it hear you tell it, you like your dad. Yeah, I know. It's okay, baby. Mommy gonna get you. And they hear it over and over and over, and they learn communication. So prayer, we got to bring it back to its simplest form. It's nothing but communication between us and God. Right. I always tell people this. Stop being fake with God. He know. Yeah. He know you ain't read his word in a long time. Stop coming with the God, Father, if he heareth me. God know. Like, man, God, I ain't been in your word in a minute. And I'm tripping. And I'm just in a situation where I need you, man. For real, I need you. And I don't know what to do. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Because that's more real to him. And in time, as relationship develop, I could come. I know his word. Like, God, I'm going through some things right now, but I know you told me not to worry. Right. I know you told me to seek your kingdom first and your righteousness. Yeah. You said that you would provide my need, God. Yeah. I know I'm in a state right now, but I cast my thoughts. You see what I'm saying? Because of my relationship, I developed. I evolved to that. Right. But a lot of times people stay away from it because religion has made it look hard. You ever been to a church before and somebody get up and pray and you like, man, I don't know, I can't pray like that. Yeah. But they're not really praying, they're entertaining. Yeah. Father, in the name of Jesus, Lord, Lord, I ask you to take this altar, God. It's 28 minutes later. Them must still go. God, I know you just wanted to preach a sermon. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's just being able to understand and teach people because everybody is not going to understand that. So I always kept it simple, but I still kept it deep at the same time. I made sure it was shallow enough for everybody to play in the water, but deep enough for people who need to go a little bit deeper. Yeah. And you got to do that. You feel what I'm saying? So prayer is nothing but communication between you and your Father, you and your Creator.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's talking to God on your level.
Right. Yeah.
And people stay away from it.
Yeah.
And it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts them.
Yeah.
Because, again, it's just as equivalent to if you had a child and your child never said nothing to you until they were in trouble.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right. That's true.
That'll hurt.
Yeah.
That'll hurt me as a father.
Yeah.
And my children never came to me until they was in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And every morning they getting up, I'm like, good morning, Jada. Good morning, Josh. Good morning, Jasmine. Good morning, Jessica. Good morning, Jonathan. I got 5 kids. I got a lot of kids. And they never say, good morning, Dad. But how many of us get up and don't say, man, God, thank you.
Right. That's true. Yeah.
Thank you, God. Even if it's just, man, God, thank you.
Yeah. Look at you. Okay. What's the hardest conversation you had or to discuss about pastoring? Without telling anybody anything. You know, or in your sermon. It kind of scared you to bring this up.
It didn't scare me.
Yeah.
Because I know where you want to go.
Yeah. No, I ain't want to go, but you bringing it up.
Trying to go.
You bringing it up.
She trying to go. I can discern. I feel it. She gets like, I just felt it.
Right.
And I wouldn't say that it is scary. But I would say that I had to really spend time with God to understand. And it was dealing with homosexuality, lesbianism, the gay community.
Yeah.
It was dealing with that. Because as a pastor, a lot of times that area of ministry is misconstrued.
Yeah.
And when I say misconstrued, a lot of times it's more looked down upon than really ministered to. And there's a big difference.
Right. Come on.
A lot of times you'll have pastors that will say, you know, God made Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? All of these other cliché things.
Yeah.
Because a lot of their level of understanding is so shallow that that's all they've learned or knew.
Yeah.
And I found myself in that same boat at the beginning of ministry because I came from, you know, that type of teaching.
Yeah.
And I really never really understood why, you know, people that dealt with that or lived that lifestyle were looked down upon more than people that was heterosexual but still having sex outside of marriage. Because it's still something that what I believe, what the word says, is wrong in God's eyesight no matter how you look at it.
Yeah.
Okay. And, you know, so I really had to spend time with God because I had people come into my ministry who lived that lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? And again, I never looked down on them or nothing like that.
Yeah.
I got friends that live that lifestyle, you know.
Yeah.
They respect what I believe and I respect what they believe, you know, and vice versa. But one of the things that I remember in my sermon one time I was dealing with it.
Yeah.
I was dealing with it and I was just sharing the aspect of sometimes, you know, people will say I was born like this. And people will say, well, you know what I'm saying, you can't be born like that. How you going to be born like that? God don't make mistakes. If he made you a girl, you a girl. If he made you a boy, you a boy. Whatever the case may be. Yeah. And I believed that for a long time. I didn't believe that a person can be born like that. I didn't believe that. Until I really started to spend time with God and really to understand that, you know what I'm saying, a person can, in some way, shape, form, or fashion, be born with like that or with those traits within them. So what do I mean by that? The Bible, you're finna have me go deep now. The Bible,
it needs to be talked about because
the Bible,
we don't have that conversation between the pastor and somebody homosexual.
Right.
Oh, your way over there, my way over here.
And it shouldn't be like that.
You know?
And it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of people feel like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like this. It's being able to understand this. With that situation, you know what I'm saying? Having the ability to let a person know. Okay.
Yeah.
Number one, I always let people know. Like I said, I have gay friends. I have people that's gay that I'm real cool with.
Right.
But it's first of all letting a person know where I stand.
Right.
And because I stand here, it doesn't mean that I hate you.
Right.
Or it doesn't mean that I reject you or you're just this plague or anything like that. And when I used to believe that a person couldn't be born like that, but then I had to really get in the Word. A lot of people don't get in the Word, they just go off of what people say.
Right.
The Bible says that we were born in iniquity and shaped in sin. So no, God does not make mistakes, but sin. You feel what I'm saying? If I'm born in sin and I'm shaped in iniquity, indicating I'm shaped in things that's against God's will, then I can be born with these type of traits, and it can affect me in some type of way, shape, form, or fashion, where I begin to operate in this.
Okay.
And I begin to not understand at a young age why I'm attracted to the same sex.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? But this is how I feel. So does this mean that God don't like me? Does this mean that God hates me? Does this mean that he, you know what I'm saying, he didn't like me, he made me like this? So do I have to deal with this for the rest of my life? And my answer to that is this. I don't look at it any different from a person that struggled with pornography. A person that struggled with masturbation. You know what I'm saying? A person that commits fornication. Or adultery with the opposite sex.
Yeah.
I look at it as the same, because that's how God sees everything. I can't categorize, you know what I'm saying, this is greater than this, or this is lesser than this. I can't do that. So when I begin to deal with it, I begin to share with people that a person can be born with these type of traits and this feeling and this desire, because we were all born in sin.
Yeah.
But God is so cold that he knew that we were all born in sin, that he came through Christ and said that, I know all that happened, but you got to be born again.
Right.
So if I'm born again, that means I got another chance to become something that I wasn't when I was born into this world. Because I could be born again. Now unto him, now everything about me is passed away, and behold, everything is new. Okay, so now, okay, if I'm gay, or if I struggle with, you know what I'm saying, fornication, or whatever the case may be, when I come to God, what happens if I get saved and I still have the same feeling?
Yeah.
What if I don't desire to be with a man if I'm a woman and I'm attracted to women? What if I don't desire to be with a woman if I'm a man and I'm attracted to another man? My answer to them was that God is able to do anything. Yeah. Number one. God is able to do anything, number one. So if God wants to change that desire, he can do it.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying? Right. But if he chooses not to, his grace. I told one of my buddies that's gay, I said, bro, you may never desire a woman. Right. You may never desire a woman. It doesn't mean that you don't love God. Right. It doesn't mean that you don't love God. Right. But you got to understand that if this is the road you're deciding to go, there's certain things that God has said that we have to line up to. And I told him, it doesn't mean that you have to deny how you feel. Yeah. It just means that you got to tap into something that God got that's going to help. And in the Bible, in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, chapter 12, I believe it's verse 7, Paul, he had an issue in his body. And he says, God, take this away from me. Yeah. He asked God 3 times, man, take this away from me, God. Right. I need you to take this. Right. Not once did God step in and say, okay, I'm going to take it away. Right. He said to Paul, when God says, I begged him, Paul said, I begged him 3 times to do it. Yeah. And he didn't do it. He came and he said, my grace is sufficient for you. For in weakness, you are made strong. And what that actually means is, and I told my buddy this, I told my brother this, I said, bro, you may never desire a woman, but God's grace is able to keep you from doing something you know is not pleasing to God. Yeah. Even though you still have those desires. Come on, we got to be real. Yeah. A person, even though I'm a man and I'm happily married and I love my wife, it don't mean that I'm not tempted to try to do something else or see something else that I may be attracted to. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. It don't mean that I won't feel that. It don't mean that that's not there or try to be there. That's why Paul said every day I got to wake up and mortify my flesh. Right. And that's not just for people that's heterosexual. That's people that's homosexual. That's people that, you know what I'm saying, that's whatever the case may be. We all have sinned. and fell short. So we all have, I gotta discipline myself. You feel what I'm saying? And I believe it's harder for my gay brothers and sisters because at least I still have an outlet. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Yeah. But my brother and my sister that deal with that or live that, they don't. So it takes a special amount of grace to help that person if that's what they really want, because we all gotta resist it. Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? We all gotta resist it. And again, this is what I tell people that want to come, because you know the only problem I have with the gay community, the only problem I love them. You know what I'm saying? I love them. You know, I love them. No, seriously, I love them. Yeah. Some of them are some of the most nice people. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I love them, and I have some that are friends. But one of the things that I can't stand about a vast majority, shall I say, of the gay community is the simple fact that I don't like when a person try to force
their sexuality.
Not their sexuality, but their viewpoint of their sexuality.
What you mean?
What I mean by that is, I don't like, it's just like me trying to force God on you. Right. And you are at a place where you like, I'm cool. Yeah. I don't want that. Oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm straight. Right. We still cool. I respect you. No shade, no shade. Right. No shade. Right. I'm cool. Look, Tiffany, she got it. I'm cool. I respect you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We still cool. Right. But I don't want that. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So when a person, and this is what I mean, when a person that deals with that lifestyle, when I stand on what I believe, and they say I'm wrong for believing that. Well, when you stand on what you believe, am I wrong for believing that against you? Yeah. You feel what I'm saying? Right. And that's the only problem that I have. Yeah. I believe that if a person is going to live whatever lifestyle they choose to live, just live it. Right. But understand that everybody's not going to agree with you.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And when you understand that, and you understand that everybody's not going to agree with you, then we can come to a common ground to understand that, hey, that's you, this me. The common ground, the common denominator that brings us together is we still cool. I'm not going to disrespect you. I'm going to still love you. Right. You come to me for advice, I'm going to share what I believe. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. I'm not going to condone things that you do that I don't believe in. Right. And it doesn't mean that I'm not your friend or that I'm not cool with you. It's just that this is what I believe. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. So I feel the same respect should be given back. Right. You know, because I've had heated debates, you know, with people that feel that my belief system is bogus because of certain things that it has written in scripture. You know, so and then like I tell them, because I don't like arguing about anything, like I tell them this is what I believe though. Right. You know what I'm saying? This is what I stand on. Right. So don't be mad at me. You know, it don't mean that we can't kick it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We still can kick and laugh. Right. Do whatever. Right. You know? Yeah. But you start tripping, I'm like, you tripping. You know you tripping, right? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But for me being homosexual, I don't know if you know or not. But you know, I don't try to pressure my sexuality. I just ask you to respect me. Right. Like I respect you. Right. And there's people in my family that I've been brought up in church too. Brought up in the Baptist church and stuff like that. And but I respect their wishes, you know, and I'm not gonna never disrespect it. If you don't ever want to see it, that's fine. But when you come into my home, this is my word. Right. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I just ask for respect, that's all. But don't down talk us, because we're human. We have to pay bills like everybody else. Right. You know, we have to deal with stuff just like everybody else.
And I share this too, Tiffany. I share the fact that God loves us all.
You're right. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He loves us all. Now, there are certain principles that he has in place, but his love is so powerful. Right. You know what I'm saying? He says that he loved the whole world that he gave his son. So he loves us. There's certain things that we do that he's not happy with.
No.
You know what I'm saying? But he still loves us like any parent would love their children.
Right.
Like I'm gonna share this, and this is very important. I know we almost
go take your time.
Overtime.
Go ahead.
I'll share this. There's so much that God wants to do with us, but he can't if we're not in alignment. He can't.
Yeah.
He can do certain things, but the totality of what he wants to do, we have to be in alignment. Not in religion, but in alignment.
Yeah.
And what do I mean by that? I'll break it down like this. I'll give you a scenario. Okay, my son, he might see this, but my son, I have a pair of shoes that I know he wants. He wear my size, and I know he wants. Or I know he would love to have it.
Right.
So God been dealing with me to give it to him. So you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh man, I really like those. He's like, give it to him. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm like.
Stick your head like me.
Yeah, I gave him 14 pair of Jordans.
Oh, okay.
When I had this last little stage I had where I felt generous. I gave him 14 pair of my Jordans.
Oh wow.
14.
You got nice sneakers though.
14.
Yeah.
When he wore them, I wanted to take them back.
Yeah.
14, but because I told myself I was done with Jordan. So
Right.
I gave it to him, and then I ended up buying more. But it's a certain pair that I know he'll like. And for the last couple of days, I put on my heart to give it to him. And I was going to do it. I was going to do it over this weekend.
Oh, okay.
And he ended up doing something in a disrespectful manner to his grandparents that made me recant on what I was going to do.
Right.
And I didn't recant to say I'm not giving it to him. I recanted from saying I'm not giving it to him right now. So had he not done that, he would have got it this weekend. But now he got to wait until an opportune time where I feel he ready for this blessing.
Right.
Because I'm not going to bless you if you're not in alignment with what you're supposed to be doing.
Right. That's true.
Because if I do, you're going to be misconstrued to think that I can do whatever I want to do and still get.
Right.
So the same thing with God, when we are in alignment, everything he has in store for us happens. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
It begins to happen. But when we're not, we see these roller coasters. And God says, I never ordained you to go through a roller coaster of my blessings.
Right.
He said, your cup shall overflow. Why?
Right.
Why do my cup need to overflow?
Right.
Why not just fill me up?
Right.
He said, because it's not always about you. If you overflow, anybody that come in contact with you is going to experience me because they close to you. Because you're overflowing.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you got to be in a position where I'm pouring. Because I'm not going to pour and your cup ain't down there. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to waste.
Yeah.
I'm going to waste what's meant to be a blessing.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I need you to be in alignment so when I pour this on you, you so much in alignment that you're not moving too soon, but you're standing still. And you're allowing me to overflow in your life so that everybody that come in contact with you experience me. Not you, they experience me. Because I'm pouring on you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're able to pay people bills. They experience me. Because you're going to give me glory. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I believe is very important. And when I was talking to my brother that I was telling you about that was gay, I just was telling him, man, you know, you can do it if this is what you desire.
Right.
You can do it. You know what I'm saying? If this was, but don't force yourself to be with a woman if that's not what you desire.
Yeah.
Let God change you if that's what you desire.
Yeah.
And if he don't change you, understand that his grace will be so cold for you that he'll have you so busy doing things in his kingdom that you won't even think about the opposite sex. Or the same sex. You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
You won't even think about it. One of my sisters that's in ministry in Cleveland, she dealt with that. She came to God and she got out of that lifestyle. But you see her, you think she just
And Jackie is
man. Jackie who? You just told somebody.
No, she got a book out and she was homosexual at one time.
No, this is lady. She go to
okay.
Dr. Man, his name is on my tip of my man, Dr. forgot his name. He in Cleveland, Ohio though.
Okay.
But she go there and she straight. You know what I'm saying? She like she ain't put no dress on. She straight. This who she is.
Right.
She say this who she is. She say, but you know what? I don't desire to be with no man.
Right.
I don't want no man. I ain't attracted to men.
You're right.
I like girls.
Right.
But I love God more.
Right. That's true.
And I'm willing to experience His grace to keep me if this is what I believe. And that's the life she now lives. She says she has struggles sometimes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We all do.
We all do. Yeah.
But the thing about it is, if that's the direction a person is choosing to go, my advice to them or anybody is don't go half-heartedly.
Yeah.
Go and allow God to develop you. You might fall a lot before you get to where He called you to be. But as long as you going through that process, the Bible says a righteous man will fall 7 times. Indicating completion, indicating we gonna fall sometimes. But He says, but he shall get back up. You feel what I'm saying? So I always encourage people, even outside of the situation we just talked about, if you fall, get up. Dust yourself off. Get busy to what God called you to do. She badder.
Bad man. So there's 3 principles I live by. Learn, love, laugh. First one. Who do you love most? What do you love the most?
I love God. I love my relationship with God. With Jesus Christ. That's my ultimate love. There's no greater person that can take that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Of course, I love my wife too, and my family to life. You know what I'm saying? But the greatest love is my relationship with God, because I know we've been through the gutter.
Yeah.
You know, listen,
I know you got some stories. I know you got some
stories. You know what I'm saying? So it's funny. I'll share this story that's tripped out. I remember pastor, and God is funny, and he'll make sure he see if there's still some areas he need to clean out. I remember I was pastoring and the church was packed, and I did altar call, and when I did altar call, some people came up to the altar, and when I looked who was at the altar, there was a couple people I dealt with in my past. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Very uncomfortable. Yeah. Very uncomfortable, because it was like, God, what are you doing? Right. They were coming up to really get prayer. Yeah. But in my mind, it was like, okay, I see what the enemy is trying to do. Yeah. And it was at that moment that I really realized my relationship with God was so tight. Because He let me know that they no longer had any tie to me. And I was able to effectively pray for them. But a person that may have not been in that state, it may have been hard. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I dealt with that person. Right. You feel what I'm saying? Right. And then the enemy, he pops his head up. There was one time one person came that I dealt with in the past, and she came to the church and everything, and she was just on some bogus stuff. Yeah. She was on some, man, let me see if you still. And I wasn't even on that. Right, right. So she tried to get my wife's number and everything, said, I really want to talk to you about some stuff, and da-da-da-da-da. My wife called her, because my wife's security. She called her, but she never returned her call. So, you know what I'm saying? God blocked that because He understood you ain't finna come in here and just try to. Right. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff that years ago, you're not finna try that garbage, Right. So love has to be God. Has to be my greatest one.
Who makes you laugh, or what makes you laugh?
I think I cracked myself up.
Yeah, you too.
That's just so, man. Man, I think I cracked myself up. I be preaching, I just say something, I just laugh. But I think what makes me laugh, man, is just being able. I love laughing. Yeah. Laughing is like medicine. It's so good to laugh. Yeah, it is. Yes, very young. And I laugh a lot. So laughing, I think, would be my father-in-law, because he's super silly. And then just I think my personality. You know what I'm saying? It makes me laugh. You know.
Who you learn from?
Ooh, I got it. Let me name all of them.
Oh, so whoever, your top 3? What top 3? Well, whoever. Don't put no top 3. I don't want people calling you and stuff. Why you put me on top 3?
Man, my top 3. Eric Thomas, number 1.
I heard that name before.
Miles Monroe, number 2. I gotta go with John Maxwell for my number 3. I'm gonna do my top 5. John Maxwell, number 3. Oh man, I gotta go. I don't know. He would be Les Brown would be number 4.
Oh, okay.
He would be number 4, but he's fighting for number 4 and 5 because I love Zig Ziglar. You know what I'm saying? I love Zig Ziglar. So they will fight between 4 and 5.
Oh, okay.
Them will be my top that I learned from. You know what I'm saying? Now, if I was to throw in there ministry wise, you know, you got TD Jakes. You know, I hope Bill Winston. That's my boy.
Yeah.
Bill Winston.
My mom loves him.
Woo!
Yeah.
Bill Winston, he is, man, that's my guy.
Yeah.
You
He be
know,
clean.
Yeah, he be clean. I don't wear them old suits though. I
Let's go.
don't do the funeral. I love you, Bill, but I don't do the funeral suits.
You gotta do it for the one time.
Man.
For us one time.
I did it on the bridge and I ain't doing it no more. Of course, Bill Winston. You know what I'm saying? I like Creflo.
Yeah.
I love Jamal Bryant. You know what I'm saying? I love people like that. You know.
Tony Evans.
Yeah. Tony Evans is good. I love his men's mentorship program that he has.
Okay.
I love him. You know what I'm saying? He got something.
No, he's still alive.
He's still alive. Yeah. I'm thinking it's my fault too.
Yes.
My fault
He
too.
called the glory.
He like, bro.
Why you calling the glory already?
Bruh. With his deep voice. Bruh.
That's like you called the glory already.
Right. You know, so I think that's who I learned in the spiritual aspect. That's what Joyce Myers, I love her.
Yeah, Joyce Myers.
You know what I'm saying? I listen to Joyce Myers.
Yeah.
I was real heavy with Juanita Bynum.
Yeah. She stepped back a lot.
I still like her.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? She's coming back to where she was.
Yeah. She can sing though.
Yeah, she can sing.
Yeah.
I just think that marriage hurt her a lot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
She had to step back.
Yeah, she had to. It kind of tainted.
Yeah.
Who people knew her to be after all that out.
Yeah.
And once you're tainted, it's kind of in Christendom.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Because people will always see that ego that failed.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So I think that would be my ones I learned from.
And what advice, I could ask you about, what advice would you give a person that was in that lifestyle but wants to be like a pastor or any ministry? What advice would you give them?
When I was in the streets?
Yeah, in the streets or, you know, trying to find themselves. They don't know how to go about.
I'll say this. Go somewhere where you can be mentored. Mentorship is so important. But mentor by the right person. Yeah. Individuals. Don't just go to church. Yeah. I think people make the biggest mistake by just going to church. Yeah. You have to find some place, somewhere where it relates to where you want to go. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't, you're going to fall into religion. Yeah. You know, so I say find a mentor, take it one day at a time. One day at a time. And forgive yourself. You gotta forgive yourself. So many people are harder on themselves than they are on anybody else. And you gotta forgive yourself. You know what I'm saying? If God forgive me, I gotta forgive myself. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you could do those things and take it one day at a time, I believe that transition to happen because mine didn't happen overnight. Mine was a process. Yeah. You know, and a person has to be willing to go through the process. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm still going through a process. We go through a process for in our entire life. Right. You know, but as long as we stay on that line, we can make sure we get the components we need for the next level. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that would be my advice. We're gonna back it out. We're gonna back it up.
Had a good sermon, boy.
Right. Tiff, we got it in.
I appreciate you guys coming through, hanging with me. You know, every time I see you, it's like a good glow. You know, you definitely walking angel in my eyes. You know, you're a good dude, very good dude. Don't let nobody tell you different.
Can I tell your audience something?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna tell y'all something about Tiffany.
Oh my God.
Tell y'all something about she got Tiff. Tiffany. I'm gonna tell y'all something about her when she said I knew her from Desi. I don't remember, but I do remember the show you and Phil had.
Yeah.
And I saw what you all were doing. And I saw you at the gym. And when I saw you at the gym, I saw Tiff at the gym. And Tiff come over and try to shake my hand. I said, Tiff, give me a hug.
Everybody got no hugger.
I don't care what, you ain't give me a hug, sis.
Everybody no hugger though.
She gave me a hug. She's like, oh, okay, bro. You know, because again, I knew Tiffany's lifestyle. I know what she chose. But she's still my sis. She's still my sis. I'm still gonna hug her like I do all my sis. I don't care what a person's lifestyle is. Because I believe that's what we should do. You know what I'm saying? I believe not everybody ain't a hugger, but when I see people, it's like what I do with the lady that came up in here.
Miss Ewing, Mama Ewing.
She was like, hey, how you doing, young man? Give me a hug. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Give me a hug. Give me a hug. I don't hug everybody. Though.
Right.
I don't hug everybody.
Yeah, I know.
They leave yet? Tiff, now stop.
She always trying to fight. Look, fight for the Lord.
Right. Tiff. Must thou tip me?
Oh my God, you a goofball.
I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no problem.
Definitely. I pray that something was said that touched, inspired, and ignited individuals to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And if anybody, have any questions, they can always reach out to me.
Yeah, say your information so people that.
You can reach out to me, find me on Facebook. You gotta hurry up though, because I'm almost at 5,000. I need to delete some people. For real.
That's ridiculous.
Assholes don't even say nothing to me. They're like, I just want to be your friend. But you can find me on Facebook at Joshua Randolph. On Instagram at Joshua Ignites. I have a Snapchat, but I only do that to keep an eye on my children. So I really don't do the Snapchat. But yeah, those are two elements that people can find me on.
Okay. Yeah. Please follow this man. He's very motivational. He'll make wake up your morning every day. I'm glad you're doing this morning time too. Oh, he gonna do it on the weekend. He gonna do it on the weekends in 2 weeks.
Okay. She proper lying to y'all.
Y'all got your coffee? Come on now. Come on now.
Y'all better turn on TD Jakes or something.
Josh, get on your job, okay? Thank you.
Y'all gonna be up there at 6:30 like, where he at? I'm gonna get on and be like, I don't know, I'm waiting too.
All right, thank y'all for tuning in. I'll see y'all next week.